Having content is essential for any training strategy, but that can be difficult sometimes because training content usually takes the form of really large courses that take a long time to create and cost lots of money. But it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, there's probably a lot of ways that you can get great content out of training that is already happening within your company. So, what I want to do today is go through three simple steps you can take to take advantage of this training and get more of the content that you need for your organization. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is Matt Jertson, and I'm the founder of Better Everyday Studios, a learning and development consulting company that focuses on helping organizations get more impact from their training in less time. Before I did this, I was an instructor pilot in the US Air Force, and then I led the training and development team at SpaceX for several years. Those experiences taught me a lot about how fast content is essential, and you need to get everything you can out of all of the training that is happening within your organization. So that's what I want to go through today. So the first thing you need to do to get more out of the training that is already happening in your organization is quite simply record everything. One of the most common things that I see in organizations are lunch and learn programs where some senior person, somebody that's experienced in the company, takes an hour to share a project that they're working on, a technique that they use to be successful, something like that. And the problem is that a lot of times these are kind of once and done things. They give them to a room full of people, and the people in that room might have liked it, but if you weren't there, then you kind of miss out. And so taking the time to record meetings like that, or even, company updates that happen very often. These recordings are a great way to capture that knowledge and make sure that something is available for future employees. I know one of the things that was really helpful for me when I first started working at SpaceX was the fact that they had recorded their all hands for years previously. And so when I got started, one of the things that I did is when I had some spare time, I would just have those recordings running in the corner of my computer, kind of like a podcast. And over the course of my first few weeks working there, I was able to catch up on the last decade of things that had happened in the company, decisions that were made, why they were made, all that kind of stuff. And it really helped me understand the company culture and how decisions were made within the organization. But of course, simply recording isn't going to be enough because, let's be honest, like that does happen sometimes. You do the recording, you make it available, and then nobody watches it because they're often not that great of recordings. They start off with 5 minutes of waiting for people to enter the room, and then there's somebody that asks a question off mic and you don't know what it is, and then the presenter kind of rambles for a while and goes off on a tangent. Not super helpful. And nobody's, in this day and age especially, nobody's going to sit through all of that kind of dead time. And so the second thing you need to do is make sure you're editing these videos. And I mean heavily edit, like think TikTok or YouTube for that matter, where you do lots of cuts to, jump cuts to make sure you're getting rid of all the excess, the dead time, excess information, make sure it's just exactly on point. And so it's amazing how much time you can actually cut out there. I was working with one of our clients where I took a 45-minute lunch and learn and cut it down to just 8 minutes of video. Those 8 minutes were then broken up into 2 different videos that I turned into a course. And so now you can get 2 things out of this. First, you're making the content a lot more digestible for people. This is the kind of stuff that we're all used to watching, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. We're used to things being a lot tighter and faster and denser with the information that they're providing. So by making these edits, you're making it a lot more consumable. But then secondly, you're also potentially getting more pieces of content. You're taking what was one meeting, and by clearly identifying the distinct takeaways from that meeting, you can have 2, 3, 4 different pieces of content that each one of them is targeted towards a specific takeaway. And then those can become separate courses if you want. And so it's a really great way to not only make the content more digestible, but also get more out of each one of these meetings. And then the final thing that you can do with all this great content is get out of your LMS or your learning management system. I know a lot of learning professionals and training professionals, we focus a lot on the learning management system. We want everyone to go there to take the courses that we are creating. But that's just not where most people live. And it's kind of a losing battle in most organizations to try to get everyone to go to that one place. But the great thing is now that you create this bite-sized content, you can actually push it out elsewhere in the organization. You can drop it into Slack, put it in a newsletter or an email. Whatever the ways that your organization already communicates, use those communication channels to get to people and deliver this actionable information rather than relying on everybody just to come back to your learning management system. So, regardless of what you are trying to achieve with your learning strategy or the training strategy in your organization, if you're trying to focus on managers or focus on onboarding or raise the safety awareness within your organization, whatever your focus is, chances are content is a big part of that strategy. And so if you want to produce enough content, you can't rely on the traditional model of spending months making these large courses that honestly cost a lot of money. You need to be thinking much more like a content creator. You need to take advantage of the training that's already happening in your organization, record it, edit it, and then get it out to people outside of the traditional channels using the channels that they already are using to communicate. And that's how you get the most out of every bit of training that happens within your organization. And it's what's going to make you successful in achieving your learning strategy. So I hope you found these 3 tips helpful. If you liked them, make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can get more tips just like this in the future. Thanks.